Magandang umaga. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Okay, so ngayon pong umaga ay we are on the 7th session of the ERLCP webinar series. Okay, so we are on the 7th session of the So ito po ay ikapitong session, webinar session. This is an initiative of the UP College of Education and Task Force Education with Dr. Cheryl Lynn Monterola as chair, UP College of Education Dean Jerome Benjaje as vice chair, with Secretariat Dr. Lorelai Arbinuan, Professor Tristan Orbeta, as also a member of the Secretariat, and with following members, Professor Maria Mercedes Arzadon, Dr. Marie Therese Bustos, Dr. Campo Amor Olegario, Dr. Clement Campuzano, Professor Abigail Thea Ocaduco, Dr. Jacqueline Mariel Caunyan, Dr. Maria Vanessa Lusong Orizon, Professor John Paul Maligalig, Dr. Dina Joanna Ocampo, and yours truly, Elenita N. So we also are being supported by Dr. Ronnie as editor, with additional contributors from the educational administration area, health education area, within early grade art and language education area, and special education area. Okay, so the Education Resilience and Learning Continuity Plan, initiated by the task force, is guided by three principles: compassion, inclusion, and innovation. Okay, so there are key 8 strategies that revolve around the ERLCP plan. We have the prioritize teacher and student safety, health, and well-being, recalibrate curricular and assessment priorities, enact flexible learning options, empower families for home-based learning, lead for resilience and innovation, redesign the learning environment, evaluate education, financing, and create new knowledge. Okay, so this is the ERLCP framework, and this shows the three guiding principles: inclusion, innovation, compassion, and the 8 key strategies. Okay, so for this, as I mentioned earlier, the plan has 8 key strategies, and I am uh, assigned to talk about enacting flexible learning options. We have started with this third key strategy with teacher Dina discussing 7 strategies to enact flexible learning options, and I hope that you were able to attend that very informative and enriching session. As you mentioned, there will be 3 more talks concerning this strategy that includes the focus of my webinar today. In line with the enacting flexible learning options, I will be talking about the topic related to the use of indigenous resources and low technologies for learning. One colleague of mine mentioned to me or pointed out to me that the use of low technologies may be discriminating kasi low-tech daw. Lowly ang dating. Parang kawawa. Rather, she told me that perhaps we should be using traditional technology. So allow me to talk more about that later after we have discussed these indigenous resources and how they can contribute to the implementation of remote learning. Okay, so for this topic, we will be looking into ano ba itong mga indigenous resources nito? Why are we going to use them? in teaching in remote learning setting? And how can we effectively use these indigenous resources for remote learning? So let's start first uh, some definition. What are indigenous resources? So as we look into it, we can define it as anything or these are resources growing, living, or occurring naturally in a particular region or environment. So, these they are people, events, natural resources, practices, beliefs, language, habitat, materials that are inherent in a specific place or space. So, what are these indigenous resources? Let's be more specific. So, these indigenous resources are um, language, dialects, cultural scripts. Materials, artifacts such as clothes, food, jewelry, fabric, textiles, baskets, medicines, decoration, accessories. So also, indigenous resources include resources available in the community or famous, the community is famous for, or the place is famous for. Like for example, in the Gupan city, is famous for bamus or homeless bamus. So how can so these are indigenous resource for them, and then we also have arts like music, dance, musical instruments, and chants, even chants. The knowledge system, such as riddles, um, wise sayings, stories, jokes, folklore, everyday stories, rituals, and prayers. Okay, and last, practices. These are also indigenous resources such as birthing, kasal, funeral, um, child rearing, apprenticeship, rites of passage. So these are the indigenous resources that we are talking about here. Okay, so um, bakit ba? Why are we advocating the use of indigenous resources, particularly in remote learning? Meron pong dalawang authors, si Lord Postke and Winsberg. I hope I was able to pronounce their last names correct. In 1995, they developed a framework for culturally responsive teaching. They mentioned in their research that no one teaching strategy will consistently engage all learners. And the key is to help our students relate the lesson content to their own background. Okay. So, why are we looking into how can we use indigenous resources for remote learning? Kasi one uh, uh, one reason to be is familiar. Nakaka-relate ang mga students. Okay, so these materials resonate with space and place where they are in, where they grew up, where they spent most of their meaningful days. And also, these resources affirm their sense of identity, their presence, their creativity, their artistry. And these resources are also available and easily accessible. And these resources show diversity, history that bring them um, pride and sense of belonging. So how can we use then these mga resources, particularly nagsara na po ang mga schools. But this pandemic has forced schools to close. And uh, and kind of force us to embrace the new normal education system. So students are not allowed to go to school. Sabi nga po dun sa ating sa mga news na narinig natin, hanggang lang una, hindi pa pwedeng pumunta ang mga students. So, they have to adjust instead to home-based learning. But how can we do that? First, let us look into the criteria. Kasi hindi lang po natin basta magagamit ang mga indigenous resources. So let us look into the criteria of selecting resources that we can use. Hindi lang po natin una po, dapat po accessible siya and available. And because they are naturally occurring in the community, we can easily avail and access these resources. Must also be resources must also be multi-sensory, which means um, that it must it must it must utilize all the this multisensory learning states that individuals learn better. They are taught using more than one sense or modality. And one example is the realia or the real objects. And also, when we use indigenous resources, make sure that these resources represent the daily life of items, not exoticize. The resources must be used in such a way that it represents the daily life of our indigenous peoples. Like, for example, in Cordillera, our brothers in the Cordillera don't wear every day. They also wear day-to-day clothes as we do here in Manila. So, must respect the sacredness of their practices, show they are changing, show that they are evolving. Let's avoid the stereotypes or distorted images or representation. And lastly, the indigenous resources must show diversity of ideas and designs. Okay, so noong pong 2014, ang DepEd po ay nag-issue ng isang order, and the DepEd Order number 51, which provides guidelines on the conduct of activities and laws involving aspects of indigenous peoples' culture. So, the DepEd Order po was issued to address the concerns on how the cultural expressions are projected, such in the classroom, such as the artifacts and symbols. They said that these symbols and artifacts have been heavily commercialized. Okay. Okay. So sorry about that. Okay. Let me repeat that. So in 2014, the Department of Education issued DepEd Order number 51, series of 2014, which provides guidelines on using indigenous resources in the classroom. So in 2014, the Department of Education issued DepEd Order number 51. And then this order was raised, and concerns when concerns were raised on how the cultural expressions are projected, such as the artifacts and symbols, which they notice are being used or being heavily commercialized without regard for symbolic or sacred values. So they are also presented in modified form for varied purposes and intents without regard for the inherent meanings, resulting to mistaken understanding and misrepresentations. So this order was issued because of those concerns, and sometimes the indigenous knowledge is discussed in class without being validated by the concerned community. So the following slide, I picked out some provisions from the DepEd order, and the following slide will show what are salient provisions or the guidelines that we can look into. Okay, so first and foremost, the purpose of using the indigenous resources must be to promote cultural sensitivity and show respect for cultural diversity. So authenticity and the sacred dimension of the cultural practices must be observed when using these resources. And before you use these resources, permission must be secured from the community, such as the use of indigenous clothing and related paraphernalia, artifacts, symbols, and when you're going to make some publications or videos and other related materials, you must seek first the permission of the community or the indigenous people's group concerned. Okay, so like for example, there's a sacred dimension of the cultural practices. If there are prerequisite, if there's a prerequisite on the conduct of this cultural practice, then it must also be included. It must also be observed. Okay. So now let's go to how can we use these indigenous resources. So still, we can use these indigenous resources for motivation, concept building, assessment, and also to scaffold. So like for example, let me give this picture, this photo or this image. Can you recognize these houses? Diba? Ito po ay matatagpuan sa Batanes. Okay? So if you, kasi po sa Batanes, these pictures will show us the type of houses they have, how they were built, and why they were built that way. As we all know po, ang Batanes po, lagi pong nasa path of storm. Maliit pa lang po akong bata, lagi ko naririnig yun sa news na ang bagyo po ay papasok po sa, ang una po maapektuhan na yung Batanes Group of Island. So yung pong traditional belief nila dictate the way their houses should be built. The crops are grown and food is prepared. All of it is learned knowledge to defy the elements, the typhoon that usually come their way. So the Ibatans constructed their homes with walls of thick limestone and heavy cogon grass roofs, which they can effectively tide in heavy winds. And don't you know, also po, sa research ko, nabasa ko na ang mga Ibatans po, they usually have a separate kitchen so that from the house living area, so that when the typhoon comes, meron po, they can easily store the food doon sa naka-separate na kitchen. Okay, so yan. So pwede po, this is one example. So this is another example. This one po was developed by my students in one of my edtech courses. They called it the Hongpang Edukasyon. They developed it for the ITELs in multi-grade classes for the enhancement of oral communication skills, math skills, and even in developing science concepts like living and non-living things. So how did they use this? By the way, if you will notice po, yung mga boxes are made of mats, woven mats. Kasi they said that, in their study, because I asked them to study the place, and then they found out yung po mga Aita women they weave mats. So they developed these boxes for educational purposes. So naalala ko po yung mga reflection ng mga students ko. Sabi nila, Mom, we thought that we enrolled in educational technology for digital technologies, and yet you were asking us to prepare this kind of materials. So but of course, what I really tried to share with them is that educational technology is not only digital technology, but it's also traditional technology, as long as they enhance teaching and learning process. So here they develop Kahongpang Edukasyon. So this is how it's done. So ginagamit po nila to, for example, dice po kasi siya. So i-roll nila yung dice. Tapos kung ano po yung lumabas, like for example, dito po sa yung may mga numbers. So dalawa, pag ni-roll nila yan, and when they roll the dice and 3 and 5 showed up, and then they're learning about multiplication concepts, then they will have to multiply 3 by 5. So pag yung po ang tumapat sa kanila, the student will give the answer for multiplying 3 by 5. So that's of course 15. So how about science? Kung makita niyo po dito sa meron po dito yung houses. So if they're learning about living and non-living things, so pag ni-roll po nila yung dice, so ano po yung tumapat sila, like for example, tumapat sa kanila yung house, and house is a non-living thing, then he or she, the learner, must explain why it is not a non-living thing, and why is house a non-living thing, and what's the explanation about it. Support it with an explanation. Okay, so this one po also was made by my student, one of my students, and if you will notice po, ito po ay gawa sa coconut. And also, okay, so, yun po, if you will notice po, dito po ay, ito pong mga native clock na to ay gawa sa coconut at sa, sa Hawaiian, bamboos. Okay, so this instructional material was developed from the resources found in Quezon. That province in southern Luzon is noted for coconuts, right? In fact, one of their most important festivals is the Nuyugan Festival, which started in 2015, which celebrates the province main product. So a clock made of coconuts was developed as an instructional material in teaching learners how to tell time. Okay, so isa po ito sa mga indigenous resources. And then, ito rin po, percussion instruments were developed to teach rhythm and note values to for a center catering to abused, neglected, abandoned children or children in difficult situations. Okay, so yun po. So these are examples of indigenous materials that we can use in teaching or in remote teaching. Okay, so I'll give you more examples. Like for example, this one, corn, rice, vegetables can be models in teaching shapes and sizes, taste and texture in subjects like English and art. Fruits, flowers, and vegetables can be used as realia for science, history, and home economic subjects. Okay, so also we can use indigenous knowledge about natural hazards as indicated by animal behaviors. Siguro po, don't know if you have heard about this. Pag malapit na raw po, pag meron daw pong, pag mag-e-erupt po ang Mayon volcano, you will see wild pigs and chickens scampering away from the base of the volcano. So yon, doon po, indigenous knowledge po yun sa lugar, and pag nakita na nila po yon, they are warned that there's the Mayon volcano may erupt very soon. So yung mga ganun pong knowledge. Okay, so katulad po sa, alam niyo po sa Camotes Island, ewan ko lang po kung napapansin yun, ang pagang star apple leaves daw po, yung kaimito leaves, ay seen inverted, so nakabaliktad from the trees. Ayun po, isang warning po yon that a natural hazard is coming. So those are examples of indigenous resources or indigenous knowledge. So ito po, magkaroon po tayo ng activity. So based on sa what we have discussed, nagkaroon po tayo ng activity. Meron po ako mga ipapakita sa inyong mga pictures, and then try to find out kung ano po yung mga concepts na pwede nyong gamitan nitong pictures na to. Ito po. So these are fruits in Cadapawan City. What concepts do you think can we use, or we can use this the fruits for? Okay, so I'll give you some like 5 seconds to think about it. So paano po ba natin magagamit yun? Indigenous po itong mga fruits na to sa Mindanao. So as an indigenous resource or as indigenous resources, what concepts can these resources can use? So, meron po bang nakaisip ng shapes? How about color? How about texture? And size? So, meron po ba kayong, naisip niyo po ba na we can use these concepts using these fruits in Kidapawan City? If you're from Kidapawan, you can utilize these resources. So, I have the next picture. Ito po. Saan po matatagpuan itong mga resources na to? Did you answer City and Pili in Bicol region? So, paano po natin magagamit itong fruits at itong mga products na to? Okay? So, have you thought about counting numbers? And how about taste? Okay, so let me show you the third image. Are you familiar with this one? Yes, they are yaya in Iloilo. So pag umuwi po tayo, normally pag galing tayo Iloilo, may dala tayong yaya. Pero, saan pong concept natin pwedeng gamitin ang yaya? Yan. So naisip nyo ba na pwede natin siyang gamitin for fraction? Teaching fraction concept sa ating mga students. Okay. So yan po ang mga samples na pwede natin gamitan. So, ngayon po, punta na tayo doon sa second part ng aking presentation, which is the low technologies. Okay? The use of low technologies in remote learning. So again, we will look into what are these resources, why, and how these technologies can be optimized for remote learning. So katulad po na minention ko kanina, we can also call these low technologies as old technologies. Kasi po they are around like since the early 1900s and entered the educational landscape in around 20th century. So we can also call them old technologies. Okay? And these old technologies, we will be looking into the use of radio and audio and TV, video, technologies that we can use. Kasi parang sa tingin ko po with the closures of the school, ang radio at TV or video ang pinaka-best option that we can use. Kasi po maraming challenges ang paggamit ng digital technologies, particularly dun sa mga areas na remote or far from the cities. Pero in our discussion today, I will also complement the use of these old technologies with the use of other low technologies such as mobile phones. So, ang mobile phone po, not necessarily a smartphone, pero kung makaka-receive po siya ng text or makaka-receive siya ng call, pwede na rin po natin siyang isama dito sa grupo ng old technologies. Okay? Pero, nung mag-close po ang school, we were caught by surprise by the unexpected unexpected event of the COVID crisis. So, ang various options po were put forth to keep the schools open or for learning to continue. And really, ang paggamit po ng, let us admit it, ang paggamit po ng radio at TV malaki pong hamon. Kasi po, this will entail extra competencies for our teachers, for our educators, para po magamit natin siya effectively. Okay, so let's go to the challenges sa paggamit ng audiovisual. Una, unavailable educational content in audiovisual formats. So ito po yung mga bumulaga sa atin when we consider radio and TV as an option, as our broadcast modality, as options in for teaching in remote areas or villages, or teaching remotely. Okay, so another challenge po is the difficulty in producing content in quantity and quality in short time. Kaunti na lang po yung time for us to prepare all these materials. And if opening of the school pushes through in August, July na po ngayon, so really have to work doubly hard, fast track the production of content using radio and TV. So ang isa pa pong challenge is absence of or limited pre-existing partnerships with with existing broadcast companies, kasi sila po yung mag-air ng ating content. And also, and I think this is very important, lack of know-how and expertise in monitoring and evaluation of learning. So, kung gagamit po tayo ng radio or ng TV, ng audio or video, these are the challenges that confront us. And we have to overcome for us to be able to reach out to our children or our students, especially those who do not have access in internet or digital technologies particularly. So, in using law technologies, we must be guided by these principles: learner engagement, affordability, and sustainability. As in the use of any technology, it is important. One important principle is we must uphold student learning. And this can be done by implementing activities that will engage them to achieve mastery of the concepts. Second principle is affordability. We thought for a while na dahil po digital na ang ating environment, ito na ang magiging future ng ating mga schools. So what the institutions did was to train teachers to use ICT or digital resources to enhance teaching and learning. And many research have shown that they indeed promoted academic performance. But how about in areas beset by socioeconomic challenges? Some areas still have no TV, no cell phone sites, or other devices that could connect them to the internet, especially at this time of pandemic. Ang amin pong kolehiyo during the first few months itong COVID-19, nagkaroon po kami ng kumustahan. Tapos kinumusta namin yung mga students namin using SMS, emails, or chat messages. At doon ko po nalaman na isa po talagang hamon ang online learning. Kasi yung isang student ko, hindi siya sumasagot sa FB, hindi siya sumasagot sa email, or kahit sa FB Messenger, kahit sinabi po ng mga kaklase niya na meron siyang FB account. So one time I messaged him, I texted him, and asked him if I can call or to give me time or what time can I conveniently call him. So sabi niya, nag-text siya, sabi niya, ma'am, sige po, pwede niyo po akong tawagan ng 10 p.m. kasi po, doon lang po malakas ang signal po sa cellphone. Wala rin po akong internet access sa bahay. So yun po, parang that kind of struck me. So kasi sabi niya, pupunta pa raw siya sa internet cafe kung gusto kong para makapag-submit ng requirements. Tapos, so yun po, isa po yan sa mga principle dapat po avoidable and also accessible. So ang radyo at TV po ay madaling ma-access. Favorite ko po ang radyo kasi ano po, portable kasi siya. Naalala ko po nung undergraduate ako kasi po ako po ay community broadcasting major. Ang undergraduate ay development communication. Tapos po ang we have seen that radio is really a very potential tool to reach to wider audiences. So yun, so use of radio and television as distance learning solution is a powerful way to bridge the digital divide in the education sector and reach even the most marginalized learners. Dinagdag ko rin po sa principle yung sustainability. Because it's also important that these materials can be reused when schools reopen and to reach out the out-of-school children as well. So, okay, so let's go to radio or audio programming. So there are many spirited debates to the use of technologies in the classroom. Some critics say that these technologies are too expensive, cannot be, many cannot afford it. Others say that there are essential needs to be addressed before letting the students use the computer. And still we have yet to conduct more research on the impact of these technologies in education. Pero ito pong radio at ito pong or audio programming, I would say, it's a low-cost educational technology that has a long history of demonstrating positive impact in student learning, particularly in developing countries like ours. And ang radio po, or it could be one-way or interactive. It is said that radio as a non-visual medium has the educational power of stimulating and developing the abstract thinking of its audience and enriching and activating the listener's imagination. Kasi po dahil hindi visual ang radyo, ang ating pong it's really very challenging kasi tayo ang maglalagay or mag-set ng stage sa mind ng mga students natin. So, however, one-way radio is that basic type of educational radio program that has no interactivity. So messages only come to the potential learners and audiences without expecting any feedback. So it's important that we also promote interactive radio instruction. So interactive radio or radio instruction is allows for two-way communication and allows for immediate messages from audiences. So, paano po ba natin gagawin interactive ang radio? So, later po I will discuss how can we promote interactivity kahit po gumagamit tayo ng radio. Kasi ang feeling po lang natin ngayon, one-way yung communication pero walang response or walang feedback tayo inaasahan. So live broadcast, it can be live broadcasting or it could be tape broadcasting. Siguro po makakarelate yung iba sa akin kasi when we when I was in grade 2, naalala ko po yung teachers namin, meron kami schedule na radio broadcast. Makikinig kami sa isang radio broadcast about a particular subject. So yun, meron pong oras talaga yon sa klase namin. So yun. So that's live broadcasting. Pwede rin naman pong tape broadcasting. Later po, I will show you how we can maximize or optimize tape broadcasting sa sa remote teaching. Okay, so let us first find out or see the reason why are we using radio or audio. Although often overshadowed as educational medium vis-a-vis other technologies such as television, radio remains a viable medium that has proven educational worth in terms of both pedagogical importance and geographical reach. Kung nasaan yan, kahit nasa bundok siya, kahit nasa ilog siya, kahit nasa gubat siya, radio can still reach them. Or radio is capable of also of delivering quality educational programming to highly diversified audiences located across broad geographical expanses, all at low per unit production cost. Okay, so radio can reach a large number of people at one time, and since ngayon po mga panahon nito, we cannot go back to our classrooms, radio is most efficient and effective medium to deliver our instruction. So doon po and also radio can transcend illiteracy and inadequate schooling because a person doesn't have to know how to read to understand the piece of information aired over radio. So, yeah. So those are the reasons why we can see a future, the potential of using radio or audio in the classroom. Pero as I said po, we were all caught by surprise kasi hindi naman na po natin ginagamit ang radio or kung hindi naman po ginagamit, very limited na ang gamit ng radio. So what we need there are things that we have to consider or there are things that we have to do para po maging effective ang paggamit ng radio or audio sa remote teaching. First, we have to develop prerequisite skills. And then, of course, with your modules now, especially do sa ating mga DepEd teachers, you will be converting your modules into scripts. And kung hindi naman po tayo gagamit or magsusulat ng script, we can use or select some radio programs or audio resources para po sa ating pagtuturo. Okay, so let me go first
May meeting ako na.
Okay, so let me go first to how can we develop a prerequisite skill. Listening skill is a prerequisite. Let us remember this. Listening, we cannot use radio or audio media if we have not developed listening skill among our students. And there are ways of developing listening skills. Okay, so first, guide listening. So ano po ba itong guide listening? Paano po natin ito magagawa? We can start by stating the objective. Okay, we can guide. So, for example, sasabihin sa mga students, okay class, today what we're going to do is, what you will listen, what you will hear today is about, fraction, something like that. Okay, so, and then these are the objectives for our lesson today. So you can enumerate and state the objectives or you can pose a question. Para po habang nakikinig yung mga bata, yung question na yun ang nasa mind nila. So nag-guide sila habang nakikinig sila sa inyong tape lesson or live broadcast if possible. So give directions, especially kung if they need to accomplish worksheets or produce products. Okay, so yon, pwede po siyang yung gamitin as one of the techniques. You can provide them with guide question or with a set of objectives na they have to follow through while listening to you. Okay, you can also ask later on. Yan. So that's also giving directions, part of guide listening. And then you can also ask students to listen for main ideas or details. Okay? And then use context in listening. Like for example, magtuturo ka po ng lyrics na isang song. So I believe some of the schools have learning management system. And I think DepEd also has a learning management system na gagamitin nila. So before airing the radio-based instruction, you can send them a worksheet wherein they can fill in the blanks while listening, like in the case of teaching a song. So habang nakikinig sila, yung mga words na missing doon sa worksheet na pinadala mo sa kanya ahead of time, pwede niya pong i-fill up while listening to you. Okay? So, ito, rank irrelevant ideas, rank relevant or irrelevant ideas, which is after listening, ask them to identify kung ano yung mga relevant at identify the main idea and rate the most relevant and irrelevant ideas based on the main idea na na-identify nila. So those are the techniques that you can use to improve the listening skills of your students. Okay. So, kung magte-tape naman po kayo o magre-record ng inyong lesson, this is a checklist that you can use as guide. Okay, first one, minimize extraneous background noise. So while writing your script, make sure na yung pong paligid mo is free from noise and sound reverberations. Okay? A small room is preferable to a normal-sized room. Kasi po maraming, like for example, yung floor, kung mag-cause extraneous noise, put on some rugs on it para po hindi mag-cause siya na extra na noise. Okay? So, maintain constant volume level. So, this can be the when you record first, halimbawa magre-record kayo, mag-try out muna kayo ng mga for about 1 minute. You record for about 1 minute, first for about 1 minute, and play it back to check the volume and tone. Kasi po, nothing is more frustrating pagtapos na kayo mag-record for about 10 to 15 minutes, you will find out na yung voice nyo didn't come out clear. Okay. So, the next one that you have to remember is that you must ensure good voice quality and clarity. So, vary your tone of voice frequently. Huwag pong monotonous kasi po nakaka-bore yun, nakakaingat. So, speak cheerfully, speak enthusiastically, enunciate clearly, minimize also yung mga yung ganun, something, and other distracting speech habits. And then express ideas clearly. So, para po, for guidance din po ng mga makikinig ng mga students, introduce the audio recording at the beginning. Example, pwede po at the beginning of your tape broadcast, you must have an identification. This is Science 10, Quarter 1, Module 4, Earth's Mechanism. So kung para po halimbawa, i-share nyo itong audio na to sa mga students nyo, i-send nyo sa kanila, they will know, they will identify na itong audio na to is particularly for ERL's mechanism para pag ni-review nila yon or kung gusto nila i-review yung topic na yon, alam nila which audio ang kailangan nilang pakinggan. This is particularly important when used for individualized instruction. Okay, so present ideas and content as clearly as you can possibly can. Okay, maintain conversational tone. Talk as you would normally talk to a friend. Okay, explore the subject with your students. Don't lecture at them. Okay, and then keep learners, parents involved. Dahil po nakikinig sila, home-based na po ang learning natin. It's also important that we involve the parents in the teaching learning process. Okay, so you can send them po guide, supply a study guide or worksheets for students as well as to parents prior to the broadcasting of the lesson. So yung school LMS po na meron ng mga schools natin ngayon can be optimized for this purpose. So you can include in your script, if you're writing the script, activities like asking them to look at a diagram. Kung nasa kanila na po yung worksheet, o yung mga handouts sent before the lesson, you can ask them to look at a diagram or a specimen or a table or visuals or equipment. Or you can even ask them to use an equipment. But it is important that these the instructions are simple. Provide simple and direct activities because they are more effective than complex ones. So give also ample time in your script, when you're writing it, ample time for your students to take note as well. So if you have to, to slow down a bit in stressing a point or stressing a concept, give time for your students, ample time for your students to take note. Okay, if you're using worksheet or study guide, when you're writing the script, work along that worksheet. Okay, make notes on the study guide or while recording. Tapos, pag while discussing, refer to it once in a while to remind them or guide the students on how they will use the worksheet. And it's also important that you keep it short. Pag gumagawa po kayo ng script, 15 to 25 minutes is good. It's good for older students, but make it shorter for younger students. Also, provide variety. Use sounds, music, or even short dialogue or voices of experts. So dito na rin po papasok yung indigenous resources natin doon po sa radio or sa audio that you develop. You can invite also experts and you can ask them to send them sound bites to discuss a particular concept na related po doon sa topic nyo for the day. Okay? So, kung gagamit ka po nito, this will provide you variation and also add to realism. So, you can even provide a lull for like 10 seconds. An interlude for your students to give them a signal that you are giving them time to work on their own or to perform an activity. So keeping the script short or the presentation short doesn't necessarily mean it's really very short. You 10 to 25 minutes, 15 to 25 minutes is good for older students and make it shorter for younger students. But you can make it like more lively if you put some variety on it. Not all the time the teacher is talking. Okay, so let's now go po sa television. TV is considered the most effective because it has the three elements: motion, sound, and light. And this provides the realistic image of the world. TV is known to be a pervasive audiovisual electronic mass medium. So, um, it's now being considered as one of the potential medium para po ma-promote natin ang learning even though remotely. Okay? So, yan. So, paano po natin gagamitin ng TV or radio? Katulad, TV or video. So, katulad po ng radio and audio, we can convert the modules into scripts. We can go back to our modules and try to translate our modules into a video. You know, how can we present our lessons into using video as a modality, okay? So we can do these two things. We can convert our modules into scripts, or we can select videos for our lesson. Okay, so I'll be providing here some selection for our videos. So your video must be aligned with your lesson's objectives. The video must be accurate and the information is current, appropriate language for the learners, and then the interest level and engagement is high, and good technical quality, easy to use, and bias-free. So yan po yung mga, yan po yung ating selection criteria if you're going to use video for your lesson, a video-based instruction. Okay, so now, when you're writing scripts, keep this in mind. Ito po yung tawag natin, kailangan po pag nagsusulat ka ng script, must also be sustainable. I think I mentioned this before. Now, when you're using these resources, sustainability must be one of the principles that you have to consider, okay? Or principles that you have to abide by, okay? So, content used during COVID-19 closures can also be used, or must also be used when school reopen. So, video has one great advantage because they can review the content multiple times and thereby possibly increasing its effectiveness. Okay, so your video-based instruction must complement with expanded access to the internet and devices. We have to admit that we really have to use internet connection sometimes and some technological devices. So when you're writing a script for video, you must also consider writing it for an expanded access to the technology or to the technological resources that are existing. Okay? And then consider supplementary actions like text messages and print material. Dito po papasok yung, kasi po marami nagtatanong, how can you assess learning in using radio or audio and TV or video? Kasi para pong one way. So when you're writing a script for video, siguro pwede rin for radio, you must consider how can text messages and print material come in. What do I mean by this? So like for example, pwede po maging interactive. To make your script interactive, you can put in your script, an item wherein the students will text back to you their response. Kasi po, ang text message po ay, I think, yun po yung pwede maka-address ng ating doon sa unavailable technological resources sa mga areas na mahina ang signal. So I think, kung meron nga pong data, ang smart or yung mga telecommunication natin, hindi pa nagbibigay sila ng libreng gigabyte. Or meron purong mga preload, mga ganun siya for a particular, like nagpa-load ka ng 30 or 60 pesos, meron pong mga preload. So pwede pong magamit din natin itong paggamit ng text messages, tsaka print material sa pag-implement ng video-based instruction. Pero make sure that we also provide for an item like this in the script. And also, we must consider diversity, equity, and inclusion. Siguro po, ang isa sa mga challenges nitong broadcast modality na to is how can we address the needs of our children with special needs. So meron po isang tinatawag nilang descriptive video. Ito po yung yung video, meron isang nag-narrate. It's a form of audio-visual translation used primarily by blind and visually impaired users of TV and film. So they employ a secondary audio program where the images and actions on screen are described during natural process in the dialogue. So yan, pwede pong gamitin itong descriptive video na to also reach out to children with special needs. Kasi po ang magiging challenge nito, paggamit ng video ay dun sa mga learners na blind, diba? So yun siya. So pwede po kasi po kasi po yung mga deaf, kung visual po, lalo na kung merong mga provision for sign language, madali po nilang makukuha yung concept. Pero paano po kung blind po siya or visually impaired, hindi niya nakikita yung visual. So this one, the descriptive video or the narration of images and actions on screen are described during natural process. Okay, so pwede po natin yung gamitin. And then, yan. So, pag nag-develop po naman ng videos, meron po tinatawag na, gusto ko i-share sa inyo itong primacy. So, that's primacy, primacy recency effect. This primacy recency effect, it was developed, was provided for in the How Brains Learn or How Brain Learns by David Sosa, which was published in 2006. The primacy recency effect states that during a learning episode, we remember best that which comes first, second best that which comes last, and least that which comes past the middle. Okay, to illustrate it, ito po yon. The primacy recency effect, like for example, you're going to develop a video for a 20-minute learning episode. So, gano'n po kataas ang retention ng concept kung 20 minutes yung inyong video. So, meron pong tinatawag na prime time 1, prime time 2, at meron din pong downtime. So, ano po yung prime time 1? Ang prime time 1, a majority po ng mga information must be presented during the first 11 to 13 minutes. Kasi po, pagdating na po ng mga 13 to 15 minutes, may downtime na po or yung pong attention span ng mga students natin may not be as active or may not be as high during the prime time 1. So during this time, the prime time 1, when you're developing your videos or using your scripts or writing your scripts, even for radio, all the information, important information that you would like the students to learn or the competencies that you would like your students to acquire, dapat po na-present na siya during the first 10 to 13 minutes. Okay. So, yun naman pong downtime. Ito po yung bumababa na yung attention span ng mga students natin. So dito, what we can do is, during downtime, pwede po yung napag-aralan nila during the prime time one ay i-rehearse or i-practice nila. For example, may tinuro kong competency, so meron ka activity na ibibigay during downtime para po mas yung kanilang attention hindi talaga mawawala. At maiko-connect nila yung napag-aralan nila during prime time one. At the time, during the downtime which is from 12 to 15 minutes. Kasi po, pagdating ng 15 minutes, last 5 minutes, tataas na uli po yung attention nila, and this is called the prime time 2. Pero hindi po siya kasing long ng prime time 1. Mga 5 minutes lang siya. So, dito po pwede nating we can bring the lesson to a close, or we can summarize the lesson, or we can, provide some scaffold na related po doon sa mga information that we provided or we presented during the prime time one. So important po that we write our scripts using this primacy recency effect. Okay. Pero ngayon po, paano naman po yung mobile phones? Kasi na-mention ko nga po na mobile phone can also be considered low technologies. Hindi po yung mga smartphone ngayon na kasi alam po natin na yung mga students natin, whether sa basic ed or sa tertiary ed, students natin, hindi rin po sila nakaka-afford ng mga state-of-the-art na mga mobile phones. So pwede po nating, as I said earlier po, we can use mobile phones for asking student to respond to a question that you post during the broadcast. So pwede po nila i-text yung answer nila, and this is also your way of finding out whether the students are still there. Kasi po, pag nasa ganitong remote learning, ang isa po sa mga challenges natin or problems or issues na ma-encounter natin, are they still there? How can we engage or make sure that our students are still there? So, through using these mobile phones, pwede po silang mag-text sa inyo. So, you can ask them some questions or even ask them, how are they? Kasi pwede pong for kumustahan kumustahin nyo sila. And I think this is very important at this time. Now, we need to keep track of our, ask the whereabouts or what's happening to our students. Kasi po, yung pong, we don't know the environment where they are in. So the mobile phones can be used for engaging them to some learner activities. They can also download resources portal. Kasi po kung yung kanila pong mobile phones can access to internet even at one time, you can ask them to download some an app like the Khan Academy, Recalibrate, or Stud Mobile. Kasi po kahit offline, kahit wala na po silang internet access, they can still access it as long as ma-download muna nila yung app. Okay, you can also use the mobile phones for communication and also for assessment. Meron po ako dito, I think this is my last slide. I tried to come up with some strategies, assessment strategies and tools that we can use when we use whether indigenous resources or low technologies like radio or TV. So naisip ko po, perhaps we can ask them to do some self-assessment. Okay? So they can reflect on the lesson, on their feelings actually, or what they have learned, what new things they learned, what are those areas that they are not clear about. So pwede po yan. They can do that. Or they can even text you, na these are the things na hindi niya naintindihan during the broadcast or the paid lesson. or peer assessment, ito pa naisip ko na maganda rin po siguro to na you can assign a body for your body system po. Body system sa mga students nyo. Kasi they can text each other eh. Kasi po nung hindi ko nga ma-contact yung isang student, what I did was ask her groupmate kung paano ko makokontakt ng student na to. And then they have communication. So for to assess also, they can have peer assessment. Pwedeng and also they can ask or ask how they are, parang tapos they can report to you kung ano na yung status or sitwasyon ng student. Kasi kung dalawa sila, at least there's somebody who can, provide you information about a particular student. So, if you have a body system, also they can peer assess. So, halimbawa, meron kang pinagawa sa kanila, you can ask that student or that member ng body system nila na i-assess din yung output ng student. So, I think this will also be a good system. And then portfolio. Sa ALS po, sa alternative learning system, I learned na pag gumamit po sila ng radio-based instruction or audio-based instruction, TV-based or video-based instruction, yung meron po silang portfolio na i-collect sa mga local government centers, like sa mga barangays. So, pwede po rin natin siyang, kung radio-based po talaga, ma-implement natin na radio-based, pwede pong yung mga portfolio ng mga students natin can be submitted to the barangay centers or tapos i-collect po ng mga schools later on. Yung pong rubrics din, very important po siya kasi whether self-assessment, peer assessment, or portfolio, dapat po may rubrics. Kasi po pag self-assess din ng student, they must be guided kung ano yung expectation mo sa kanila. And also for peer assessment, para yung dalawang students na pinair mo, they know kung ano yung mga expectations mo, kung ano yung mga standards, kung ano yung mga rules or guidelines that they have to follow. Para po ma-achieve nila yung learning objectives, also for portfolio. And also and then ito yun, ang assess rin sa mga assessment strategy, yung use of SMS. So yung katulad nga na minention ko kanina, they can text you back for an answer, for a response, for a reply na sinend mo sa kanila para malaman mo to keep you informed whether you still have students listening to you. Nalimutan ko po ilagay dito, pwede rin po siyang Gmail kasi po sa isang nabasa ko, kasi po ang problem kasi sa paggamit ng remote learning, yung pong bandwidth, yung pong yung data consumption. And in one of the blogs na nabasa ko about it, ang pinakamababa pong nagko-consume ng bandwidth ay Gmail and Facebook. Yun, pag nag-scroll ka lang ng Facebook or FB or also mababa din po ang bandwidth pag FB Messenger. Kasi lang siya, hindi ka nagda-download, kasi nag-uusap lang kayo. Pero kasi po mataas talaga ang data consumption pag Zoom, pag Google Meet, pag Google Hangout. So parang for this particular topic na sinishare ko sa inyo, yung pong paggamit ng mga video conferencing, hindi po talaga siya mag-fit dito. Kasi nga, and I think the reason why you are listening to me right now is to find out whether these indigenous resources or low technologies, how can they really address yung pong address this challenge of remote learning. I consider remote teaching and learning a challenge kasi po sabi nga nila wala pong correct na approach yet sa pag-continue ng learning. So yan po. Let me end with this quotation from Holmes in 2010. Sabi niya, when the world eventually looks back on 2020, there will be much to learn from each other. Educational responses to the crisis are capable of changing the meanings, purposes, and values of school. And it can help these values and meanings and new purposes can help shape a more humanistic futures for education and learning worldwide. So, meron lang po akong dalawang takeaways before we go to the question and answer. There are two. First, ang paggamit po ng indigenous resources and low-cost or low technologies or old technologies. Katulad po ng sinabi ni Teacher Dina, tayo pong mga teachers, we must give our best efforts. Okay? And we also have to be ingenious, resourceful, and let me add, steadfast in discovering ways by which we can make learning continue. Alam ko po kung mayroong makaka-relate sa akin. Kilala niyo po ba si MacGyver? Siguro po, kasi po si MacGyver, yun po ay isa pong TV program wherein kahit po kulang yung resources niya, still, nagagawa niya po ng paraan na ma-accomplish yung task niya. So, parang ganun po ang nangyayari sa atin yan para tayo si MacGyver. But we have to explore all the resources that we have available to us, accessible to us, to make remote learning successful. Pangalawa po, sustainability. When we develop videos or write scripts for audio or radio-based instruction, we think about sustainability. Kasi hindi po natin alam kung ito na yung huling pandemya na mararanasan natin. Sana po ito na yung huli. Pero in case that a new crisis comes, with all the things that we learn dito sa nangyari sa atin ng COVID crisis, hopefully hindi na po maaapektuhan ng ganito kalaki ang ating mga paaralan at universidad. Ipunin po natin yung ating mga best practices, tandaan po natin yung mga challenges at kung paano natin in-overcome, at gamitin natin yung mga datos na nakuha natin galing dito. Para po sa panahon na meron na namang pagsubok na katulad nito, hindi na po tayo, alam na po natin yung gagawin. Or we can kung alam naman natin ang gagawin, we can, yung naranasan natin could be, magagamit natin para po di natin ma-overcome lahat ng challenges na to. So with that po, maraming salamat. So we now go to, so these are my references. So we now go to the question and answer. Meron po ditong ipinadala ng question. Yan. Basahin ko lang po. Ang tanong po niya is, can the Filipino public school teachers, especially those are cultured already, easily adapt the new normal, the online teaching? Can we easily persuade them? Hindi ko po, gusto ko pong i-contextualize yung culture. Yung po ba yung parang nakasanayan na nilang gawin? Kasi sabi nila, sabi niya, especially those cultured already, how can they easily adapt to the new normal, which is the online teaching? Can we easily persuade them? Actually, may nakausap nga po ako isang school owner. Sabi niya sa akin, challenge nga daw sa kanila yung mga teachers na medyo hindi tech savvy. Kasi po madaling maka-adapt yung mga bata pa, tsaka yung kaya kung hindi man sila ganun kabata, pero yung po mga interested talaga to learn how to teach or use the online teaching approach. So, pa-persuade po ba natin siya? Okay. Siguro po, kasi alam ko naman na hindi po porque cultured na sila or nakasanayan na yon, hindi na po natin sila mapipilit na mag-adapt sa bagong environment. With proper training po siguro, and then siguro yung ano nila na, kasi hindi naman po lahat ng paggamit ng technology kailangan complex eh. Kailangan complicated. Siguro they can, pwede po nilang gamitin to. Ito nga yung diniscuss ko ngayon, yung low technologies or old technologies or, or kung hindi man po sila gumamit ng technologies to, we can gain from their wisdom. Kasi kung matagal na silang teacher, for sure meron silang mga ma-share sa atin ng mga activities or practices na pwede nilang ma-share sa atin while we, the tech-savvy or the younger ones, develop the materials. So what we can, hindi po natin sila mapilit na gumamit ng mga digital technologies or state-of-the-art technologies. At least we can, we can ask them, consult with them, about the content. And naisip ko nga po, kasi kung babalik na naman tayo sa radyo at TV, I'm sure these cultured teachers na sinasabi dito sa questions, marami po silang ma-share sa atin. Okay, galing naman po kay Bruno Abenocar. Ma'am, I think another concern with radio and TV as broadcasting modality is, aside from logistical concerns, the ability to manage learning and customize their content for learners from different contexts. Totoo po yun. Challenge po yun. Kaya po doon sa shinare ko kanina, kailangan po, pag nagsusulat tayo ng script, i-contextualize po natin. Kasi po, kung ang familiar yung mga ginagamit nating resources sa mga students, mas madali po silang makaka-relate sa mga sa lessons at madali pong may maintain po ang mataas na retention ng concept. So important po na dapat talaga, ito po yung, I think this is the context of my lecture today, that we have to contextualize, we have to indigenize the content to engage them, to engage our learners. Okay, galing naman po kay Villaminda Ferrer Lanzarote. Okay, may we know of the easiest way to convert module into scripts? Kami po lang po mga colleagues, involved po kami dito sa efforts or initiatives ng DepEd para po ma-convert yung mga modules into video-based and audio-based or radio-based instruction. Paano po madaling, sabi niya dito, may we know of the easiest way? Alam niyo po, graduate po kasi ako ng community broadcasting, BS Development Communication. Yung pong pagsusulat ng script for radios, especially for school on the air. Kasi po, meron kaming mga requirements na kailangan magsulat ng script for school on the air. Talaga pong specialized po ang skill sa pagsusulat ng script. Pero, I think through training and through workshops, we will be able to learn the craft. Kasi as I observe, ang mga teachers po natin, again, will be developing or writing scripts for audio-based instruction and video-based instruction. So, wala pong hindi ko po masasabing easiest way, pero through training po and workshops and simplified way of doing it, matututunan nyo rin pong magsulat ng script. Siguro po yung pagsusulat po ng easiest way is another topic kasi po Ako po particularly, if you want, ayan, offer ko na po, if you want, you can message me and I can give you some tips on how you can write the scripts. Medyo, ano na rin po tayo sa time, so I think wala na pong question. But if you have more questions, I can look at the Facebook comments or posts, and I will try to answer the best I can, and or even share with you some resources or help you with writing scripts, particularly for radio. So I hope makatulong po yung ating webinar ngayon, and I'm sorry po, I apologize for some technical glitches, but I hope I was able to deliver kung ano man po yung information na essential or relevant sa bawat isa sa atin. Maraming salamat.